And good morning. Today is a bank holiday, Monday in the UK. But here in Spain, it's just a normal day, which is kind of nice because it gives us a chance to catch up with our customers and so on who are not working on a bank holiday Monday, but most of our customers are actually self-employed anyway, so they are actually working. But in today's session, we're really going to cover a lot about getting into debt in order to get wealthy, something that we did 25 years ago, but with some rules around what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and all of that kind of thing. And seeing as it's worked for us, and we've made also some fairly big mistakes, we just want to cover off some of the things that you should do and some of the things that you shouldn't do, which hopefully will help you guys along as well. Okay, so we're just going to head up to CrossFit. We've got the dog in the back, and Bumble always comes to CrossFit with us. So before we do anything, we are going to hit CrossFit, because if there's an investment that you should be making right now, it should be in your health. And one of the big things for me has been going to CrossFit and working out with a group of people, and where you do cardio and weights as well. And it's not just cardio and it's not just the weights that makes the difference. It's the fact that you're with other like-minded people, all sweating, bleeding, oh well, there's no blood, but dying together. And you know, when you finish your last set of power cleans, which is an Olympic move, I mean, never would I have thought that I'd be doing any form of Olympic weightlifting whatsoever in my 50s. But you know, when you're on your 10th, 20th power clean of a lower weight, and you're gasping for air, and you see the other guy onto his next set, you just push through that pain barrier. And honestly, it's been life-changing. And so, you know, I think everybody should CrossFit. And probably every morning that I go to CrossFit and I film, I'll be having the same conversation. It's not that you should be running, and it's not that you should be playing basketball, it's not that you should be playing five-a-side football. Yeah, you can do those things in between the CrossFit. But just playing tennis, or just being a runner, or just being a basketball player, or rugby, or football, or whatever it happens to be, is simply not enough. You have to have the weight training component in there. And even the weight training component on its own, if that's what you're doing, isn't enough. You also need the cardio aspect, because there's three areas here. The kitchen is what keeps your calories down and what keeps your fat off you. Your cardio and your running is overall health, the ability to move blood around your system, and then being able to lift things, heavy things, you know, do pull-ups and that kind of thing. That's all comes down to the weightlifting side of things. I mean, I was on holiday in England 2 weeks ago, and with wife's family, and we're at the kiddies' playground, and the kids were doing the monkey bars. Now, I don't know why kids are able to do monkey bars, but as soon as you get older, you seem to lose that ability. And I was the only one of the grown-ups to actually be able to do the monkey bars. Now, I've never ever been able to do the monkey bars, and then obviously because I've been training for the last 12 months with CrossFit, now able to do all these things that I never thought I'd be able to do, and one of those things is monkey bars. Not that doing monkey bars is going to really serve me in life. Can't think of a situation on a daily basis where I need to do monkey bars, but certainly lifting things, moving things, it all adds up and absolutely helps. And so I think everybody should be doing CrossFit, or a method of cardio with weightlifting that's going to keep you engaged, and is gonna help you stay as fit as possible. Because staying as fit as possible is absolutely one of the most important things you could do in terms of investments in yourself. Okay, we're here, so let's go to goodness me, that was a killer session. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I didn't. That was hard. Back home for shower, and we've got some work to do. So the thing about that session is it's hard. But the thing I love about it is that when you're struggling, and we struggled, boy, you could see how much work that was. When you're struggling like that, you look up and you see the next person next to you is also struggling, and you think, you know what, they're doing another round, I can get one more round in as well. And what happens is that you end up doing another round even though you're really fatigued, and it pushes you through. And you know, like we say, success is a habit. That is a habit. Pushing through is a habit. Pushing through when you think you can't do any more, when you've done enough and you do one more or two more or three more or a lot more. That habit stays with you. And when we're talking about investing, you know, we talked about CrossFit being an investment in your future. Learning how to push through is why we want you to do things like CrossFit or sport. I mean, ideally running and lifting, something like that, cardio and lifting. It's not necessarily the cardio and the lifting. It's the mindset that has to come with pushing through. It's the most powerful force in business that I can think of. It's not knowing how to do video editing or how to do SEO. It's knowing how to do SEO, and then when you've done it and it hasn't worked, is doing more until it does, and just pushing through and pushing through and pushing through. Boy, that is hard, you know. And by the way, those people who watch the video podcast, the vlog, this, like, you get this. Other people don't get this because they don't commit to watching the vlog. And there's absolute golden nuggets in it, as I hope you'll agree. And it's that pushing through. And you must remember a time in your life when you felt you couldn't do any more, and you did some more, and you got some positive results because you did that extra. And that should become a habit. And if you can get that thing to be a habit, like, life will be easier. I'm not going to say life's going to be easy, because I don't think life's easy. You know, I think there's problems at every level. You make £1 billion, I think you've got different problems. They all seem, you know, big. Than not having £5 and, you know, being able to struggle, being able to put food on the table. Everybody's got problems, but learning how to push through those problems is absolutely vital. And that's what you'll learn from doing something like CrossFit, where you can keep on learning how to push through. And learning how to push through is something that's really important when it comes to things like consumer debt. Like, if you're carrying credit cards and car loans and store loans, it makes it incredibly hard for you to get wealthy. It makes it very hard for you to leave the rat race, because the cars and the IKEA sofas and whatever else it is that you're buying on credit cards, that's the thing that's going to keep you trapped in whatever it is that you happen to be trapped in right now. And so, you know, when people are talking about investing in property, you know, one of the first questions is, well, have you got credit card debt? And they go, well, yeah, I got 12 grand on a credit card. And it's like, well, you need to be paying that off. That's a 20% annual cost for your credit card debt that's not being paid off. Or sometimes you see people and go, oh, well, I got a little bit. I've got maybe 1,000 or 2,000. As well, it doesn't matter. And it's like, no, get rid of it. Get rid of your credit card debt entirely before you do anything else. Even better than getting rid of your credit card debt is not getting into credit card debt at all. Like, you want a car? Why are you getting a loan? So you buy a car for 20 grand, you're getting a loan, so now the car's £26,000, and in 4 years' time, when you've paid the loan off, your car's worth 10. You just spent £26,000 to end up with a 10 grand car. Buy a 10 grand car now, save £1,000 a month, or £500 a month, or £200 a month, and buy a 2 grand car. And cars are irrelevant. I used to love cars. I had a Porsche 911, very beautiful thing it was. Cost me £42,500, absolutely stupid, absolutely bonkers. And that's one of the things that actually stopped me being financially free. And now, of course, we live here in this beautiful villa just next to the sea. And one of the reasons why we can do that is because we don't carry any credit card debt, we don't have car loans, we don't have any bad debt at all. And so that means that because we don't have bad debt, it just makes life so much easier, and that's where you want to get to as well. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when they're starting out in business is they think they need to go out and get this loan to buy new equipment or stock, because the stock is cheap if you buy it in bulk. And all that really happens is they go out and get a loan, they get themselves in debt. Usually they have to then put a personal guarantee onto that loan and that debt, and then they end up with a garage full of stock that they can't sell because they didn't actually sell any to begin with in the first place. Your business should be built upon sweat capital, or your ability to make sales and ensure that the money from those sales is actually going to pay off the cost of buying the products in, and then actually being able to live off the profits of that. And that's how you then grow your business and buy more stock and get cheaper discounts, and then it just snowballs. Don't go out and just get a loan hoping that you're going to be able to sell some stuff. You see, you know what's even better than cars? Coming to the beach on a Monday, nobody else is here, everybody else is at work, buying fancy cars and big screen TVs. All that stuff's just going to keep you in debt, and it's going to keep you in a job that you probably don't really enjoy anyway, and it's definitely going to make your ability to leave your business or your job take much longer. Stop buying expensive stuff you can't afford to impress people you don't know. But also I think there's something to be said about knowing the difference between good debt and bad debt. Like, not all credit card debt is bad debt. I know people say all credit card debt is bad debt, and I don't necessarily agree with that. It depends what you've done with the credit card debt. What have you spent the money on? If you've bought yourself a new computer with which to record vlogs, do loads of marketing, is that really bad? That's something that puts money in your pocket. We're back down to rich dad, poor dad, aren't we? With, what is an asset? An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. And rich dad, poor dad talked about the difference between good debt and bad debt. Bad debt are things like big screen TVs and putting nights out on credit cards. I've done that. And, cars, potentially. You don't need that 20 grand car when a £2,000 car will do. The only thing that's getting you the 20 grand car is ego, and your ego's writing checks your body has to cash through going out to work and that kind of thing, and that's not necessarily what you want to be doing. So not all credit card debt is bad, and there has to be this delineation between good debt and bad debt. So like mortgage debt is good debt because it's usually quite cheap, but even now 5-6% interest rates, on a mortgage, that's quite high. So being mortgage free is useful, but you've got to get used to understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. And if you can get rid of your credit card debt, usually that's bad debt. It's from buying clothes or going on holiday and all of that kind of thing. And some people will make excuses saying, well, I needed that holiday, that's good debt. That's bullshit. It's not good debt. How is that good debt? You've got yourself in debt to go to Ibiza for a week. That's not good debt. There's better ways of doing it than that. So examples of good debt are mortgages, for example, where your money's coming in to pay off your mortgage and then leaves you a little bit of cash flow each month. And then it may be that you've got a credit card and you've bought a laptop on that so that you can work on the beach because you're a digital nomad or whatever. Or it could be that you have bought a car and you have to look the part for your job, or you have to look the part for your business. But generally that's bullshit. We know that that's not quite true. That's ego talking. It's ego that's bought you that car. Oh yeah, but I have to have a nice car. Why? Just park it round the corner, nobody even knows. My car in England is I don't know what it is, it's a 2006 Peugeot 1.6 HDI. It's an old Peugeot 208, I think it is, a 207. It's worth about 1,500 quid now. You put 70 quid in it and it lasts for 700 miles. It's amazing. It's 30 quid a year for car tax. I'd rather have that than a Porsche 911 or a Ferrari, knowing that I can just nip back down to the beach or go off on holiday or go for a weekend in Ibiza or whatever. That's what
people get trapped in with this good debt and bad debt and not the understanding of what each one of those are. So if I was going back to being 20 and 30 again, I would absolutely make sure I had 0 loans, 0 bad debt. I would be saving up as much money as I could, and I'd be a lot more frugal with my money than I have been in the past, that's for sure. That's definitely some mistakes that I've made, some big mistakes, going out to spend a lot of money. I haven't got anything left for it. At least if I bought a house with some of that money, I'll still have the house and I'll still have the cash flow. I'll have, in fact, more cash flow than I would have had going back 15, 20, 25 years. So just to finish up really on good debt and bad debt, you've just got to understand what the difference is. Try and carry as little debt as possible if it's bad debt. But if it's good debt, like mortgages, I don't mind mortgages. That's fine. And most businesses, by the way, have some kind of borrowing because that's where the growth comes from. And so that's fine. It's like it's when all of your cash flow goes into paying down your debt in business that kind of ruins it. But as a person, as an individual, you shouldn't be having loans and you shouldn't be having credit cards. And of course, I have to say this as a caveat, this is not financial advice because I can't give financial advice. I'm just saying what I would do. Hope that's useful. We'll catch up with you in tomorrow's vlog. Speak soon.